Okay.
All right.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, we will start with like introducing ourselves. Um,
Yes.
I'm Yoav Akiva, and I live in the Tel Aviv region in Israel.
And I am Melina, and I live in San Francisco, California, United States.
And we're gonna be talking about movies on this new podcast, One-on-One Ratio Pod.
Yay!
Do you
Wait,
wanna do you wanna like describe it a little?
I mean, basically, it's just two friends who are film obsessed, and we just want to talk about film
Okay.
because that's just, yeah. I have my little Oscar.
I didn't bring mine.
He-
Um,
I'll, I don't have anywhere to put it. But yeah, and this is like a way
uh,
for us to just talk about film because we're pretty far away from each other. But this is like a way for us to come together once a week and just talk.
yeah. And we'll talk about like movie news and like movies we've watched,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like movie hauls.
Yes.
And then every week we'll have a movie to talk about, and we'll get to
Mm-hmm.
that later.
Yes, we will.
Um, and yeah, we'll just talk about the movie, what we thought, and our ratings at the end. And then at the end we will reveal whose week it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'll alternate week for choosing movies.
Yes.
And then we'll reveal what the next week's movie is. And then do it. Yeah.
Yep. And
Even though
then
we next week we won't have a podcast.
yes, next week there'll be no episodes because I will not be here and I will not have technology for a week. So I'm sorry about that. But we will be back the week after. And then eventually, hopefully, we can bring on some friends and other people um to join us as special guests. But
Yeah,
shall we get started, Yoav?
I think we should get started.
Okay.
Um,
Well, do we
you
start
wanna?
with do we start with some movie news?
Sure.
Okay.
Melina, have you watched the Wonka trailer?
Yes, I have.
It's, I didn't like it actually.
Neither did I. I think it just looks so cringe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks very cheesy. I mean, it just looks like um Timothy Chalamet like wonking around in his little suit
Yeah.
and like hat trying to do his best Gene Wilder impression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it didn't work for me at all.
Neither, yeah,
Who's
same.
the director though?
He did Paddington.
Oh,
I don't know his name, but
okay.
he did Paddington.
Paul King.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that I saw on Twitter that he casted or cast Timothy Chalamet based off of his LaGuardia performance.
LaGuardia? What does that mean?
His high school, you know, like you know that
Oh, LaGuardia.
yeah, you know that
Yeah.
performance he did, the
Yeah.
uh hey, now chop that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cast him based off of that. He no audition.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. So he was like, he saw that and he was like, you know what? I think this guy is perfect.
He
I don't know.
has he seen any of the other stuff?
I mean, I'm sure he's seen other stuff with Timothy in it, but
When did they, I wonder when, but I did, okay. I do love Hugh Grant and I do love Rowan Atkinson.
true.
I in fact do not like Matt Lucas, which is the bald guy from British Bake Off who's acting in this for some reason.
See, I don't
Um,
watch British Bake Off.
I used to, so that's why he's there.
Okay.
Um, and I love Olivia Colman,
Uh,
obviously.
who doesn't? Queen.
Yeah.
We bow down to Olivia Colman,
For
obviously.
real. Um, but it does bother me that like Timothy Chalamet is like the main character here. He gets the most attention. Like I don't think Hugh Grant or Rowan Atkinson can show how funny they can be
Yeah.
or how like dramatic they can be at all. And it's kind of the Timothy Chalamet show here.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, I mean, like,
and
yeah, his character is the selling point, but like, he doesn't seem fit. Like, you know? Okay,
we're back.
nice. So,
Um,
oh yeah. So Timothy, like, look, oh, he's great. He's a great actor, but and like I love his acting. I love a lot of the roles he's played in, but I just don't know if
yeah.
this is fit for him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Who would be your dream cast as Wonka?
Okay. Now, I'm not sure, but Jeremy Allen White looks just like Gene Wilder.
Oh, he
Like
does. Yeah, from the bear.
yeah, like it's crazy.
I saw that on Instagram and people were like comparing him.
Yeah. But I have to give
And he
that
has, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say I have to give it more thought.
Yeah. Because I feel like after the bear, he's proven himself, right? And
Oh
after
yeah.
Shameless too,
No, even
you
in
know?
Shameless, like he is phenomenal. Like that man can act. He
Yeah.
needs to be put in more things.
Yeah. I feel like he should have auditioned at least for the
Mm-hmm.
role. But Timothy Chalamet is the selling point.
Oh, oh,
That's,
oh.
well, who?
I saw on Twitter and I totally agree with this. The guy from Booksmart. The guy from Booksmart,
Okay.
dude.
Which guy from Booksmart?
Um, what's his name? He's like the goofy one who was like
Jason
following.
Sudeikis?
No,
The guy that played
Sky
Jared?
Skylar Gisondo.
Skyler, yeah, he looks like
This
Gene
guy,
Wilder too.
this guy,
Yeah,
he totally could do it. Yeah, he's so
yeah. And he was
goofy.
he was crazy enough in the movie to do that in
Yeah,
real like in Wonka.
so like I totally,
Oh, that would have been good.
yeah, but I don't know.
Fuck.
I don't
That
know.
sucks. Well, it's a wasted opportunity, but still,
Yeah, it's okay.
I think it's gonna make money, but it gives like
I mean, I'm still gonna see it.
yeah. I mean, Hugh Grant is playing a Oompa Loompa.
Like
I feel
that
like that's
in and of itself, you should go see for that. Like,
yeah. But why? I don't know. He's stooping kind of low for an actor of his grandeur, but I guess he's doing it for fun.
yeah,
So
he's doing side quests.
he's doing he's doing side quests. I thought in the beginning you were talking about Jason Sudeikis, and that would have been really
No.
bad.
Oh my God, it looks like I'm not wearing a shirt when I sit like that.
Well, there are some Criterion announcements this week,
Yes. Oh my
which
God.
were really crazy to see.
Hmm.
In my opinion, we've been in a little bit of a lull.
Definitely.
Because what was it last month?
Uh,
I
honest.
don't
Oh, it was Bowie,
Princess Bride 4K, Moon
Moon
Age
Age
Daydream.
Daydream.
I think the biggest thing that month was Orson Welles' The Trial, which was like
Yes,
a big
yes,
deal for a lot of people.
yes. I
But
have to
then
get
all
to
these
watch that.
4K,
I
all these 4K upgrades.
I mean, we've talked about this, but to the viewers out there, it's it's so frustrating because like we want to see like new releases and they
Yeah,
just keep coming out with re-releases of these 4K like stop. We don't need a re-release of Princess Bride. We don't. We don't.
no.
What did they re-release this month?
I'm well, they had Don't Look Now, which is that movie with Donald Sutherland.
Okay.
And then one more thing. Um
They had
Videodrome.
yes, 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 yes. Like Like, come
No one
on.
cares.
Thank
Videodrome is
you.
already such a big title
Mm-hmm.
in like the collection. There's no reason. But
Exactly.
I mean, as someone who newly has a 4K player,
Right.
that I got for my birthday, I'm still upset. It didn't change my views on it at all. However, I will be like upgrading. Like I won't be upgrading anything, but I
Mm-hmm.
will buy certain stuff.
Yeah. But it's just like
Um,
frustrating because we want to see new things. But Freaks,
yeah.
Freaks is really cool. And the others. I
Yeah.
was not expecting the others. That's like so,
Yeah.
but so cool.
Weird. Yeah.
And
Well,
Freaks,
there was Nanny, which is a movie I saw on Prime by I don't know how to pronounce
yeah.
her name.
And
It's
that's like really recent.
That's very recent, which
Yeah.
is also like something that I don't really agree with. All these recent releases, like they have time in the limelight,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
We're still
Um,
waiting for that Iraqi release.
yeah, yeah. We don't need Nanny to be honest, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll give it a chance because it looks super interesting.
Yeah.
And the poster of it on like
The
Criterion is like the title's like melting and there's a hand grabbing for this woman like in the
That's
middle of the
cool
lake
though.
or something. Yeah.
It's
Um
cool.
and then Nicole Kidman, the others. Have you seen it?
No, it's been on my list for a really long time, but no, but it's I just was not expecting a Criterion release from the others.
Yeah.
Kind of
That was
random,
because it's yeah, kind of random, but
but
I
it's cool.
it's welcome. You know, this is actually the first Nicole Kidman title in the whole thing,
Wow.
which is strange to
That is
me
strange.
because I
Our
feel like she
AMC queen.
I feel like I felt I feel like she would have had like a title in the collection when she was like younger. I feel
Hmm.
like it would be fitting for her as an actress to have like something when she was 20 in like some classic movie. I don't
Like
know.
an eyes
She's
wide shut type thing.
yeah, and
But
everyone's waiting for Eyes Wide Shut. Everyone. That's been a
does
long awaited
Kubrick
thing.
even have any on Criterion?
Yeah, he has 1 second. Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Paths of Glory, which is
Okay.
like that war movie,
Yeah, yeah,
which is pretty good, by the way.
yeah.
It's not,
Okay.
there's no like, it all takes place in, most of it takes place in a courtroom after like a very intense trenches scene.
Mm.
And it's kind of weirdly about like masculinity um, and like break, like
So
things that break a human.
most
Yeah.
war movies.
Yeah, but it's like a different it's like for some reason it's a breath of fresh air when you watch it from like
Hmm.
modern war movies. But
Okay.
anyways, we got the kind of content we are looking for was with
Yes.
Freaks, which is
Freaks.
actually it's a box set. It's 3 movies,
Yes, yes. I
right?
noticed. Mm-hmm.
And it comes with Freaks, which is obviously such a it's so infamous from
Mm-hmm.
1932, the movie that got banned, the movie that's like the most disturbing old thing you'll ever see.
And it
Um,
influenced to the people who know more modern stuff, American Horror Story Freak Show, highly, highly influenced by Freaks. Um, Controversial seasons. A lot of people hate it. I don't hate it, but it's good. There's a whole episode that basically mirrors the movie in a way. It's cool. So yeah,
I feel like
Freaks.
every circus movie has been influenced. Like I definitely see from the
Yeah.
trailer of it, like hints of Nightmare Alley, hints
Oh, for
of
sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so basically I don't really know what's so disturbing about this movie except for like the people in it
It's just
are
the
like
people. People are
okay.
just
So
fucking scared of
uh,
people that are different.
yeah. And no, but also they're treated very bad in the movie, so I guess that could be
Yeah. Oh,
disturbing.
there's like a whole murder thing. right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like a whole thing. We'll see. And then there's two other movies that each have like 20 or 30 reviews on Letterboxd, like barely
mhm.
anything. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. That they're doing 4K remasters of these
Yeah.
old like Todd Browning movies. Um, and they called it Sideshow Shockers. I just love it so
It's
much.
really
It's
cool.
like the whole release has a vibe to it that's just like I really want to get that.
Yeah,
And it's releasing in October, so
exactly. Ugh, I hate how
yeah.
they do that though.
Why?
Unpopular opinion.
Why?
Because it's like they tell you in July, and it's not gonna release in another 3 months. Like,
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
but whatever.
But we have a lot coming in the next like it's right now July,
Hmm.
but we have um the Princess Bride and all that stuff coming
Yeah,
out very soon. Even though they did have a week that was super special. That was like it was like five new Blu-rays. It was like
that was a
a
while
bunch of
ago.
movies. Yeah, that was for their August releases.
Hmm.
It's just a bunch of movies on Blu-ray for like that no one knows about. So
Yeah.
I was happy with that. Yeah.
All
Um,
right. And then, so should we quickly just give a rundown of movies that we've recently watched, like
yeah.
unimportant movies?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so I rewatched Parasite on the airplane thing.
I rewatched Parasite this week too.
What? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Um, I watched Interstellar for the first time, and I watched
How
White
was it?
Chicks. And Interstellar was okay.
It was okay.
I don't love sci-fi. Okay, I don't hate sci-fi, but I don't love it. Also I watched again, I was watching on an airplane, so it's a little hard to get fully immersed on that tiny little screen.
Yeah, but I feel
Um,
you said you wouldn't watch it in any other situation,
no,
which I
I
agree with.
wouldn't. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't go out of my way to watch that movie, but I just wanted to like knock it off my list. Um,
Yeah.
it's I mean, look, up until Oppenheimer, I think my favorite Nolan movie was probably Inception.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think Interstellar beats Inception. The concept was a little confusing, but whatever. Eh,
I think okay, we'll get to Oppenheimer.
yeah. And then I watched
Um,
White Chicks,
oh, how
and
is it?
it was so dumb. Like I told my dad, I was like, "Oh, I watched White Chicks," and he was like, "Ugh, that's such a stupid movie." But it's
That's
funny. But I was
our
laughing.
friends will be very disappointed. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as it was
No,
funny.
no, I was laughing, but like it is dumb, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and then I am watching Big Little Lies.
Oh, how was it? My sister did not like that one at all.
I'm almost on with season 1. I'm on the last episode. Alexander Skarsgård, you're forever ruined in my mind. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Why?
His character is a fucking perverted douche abuser, and I think he's the rapist. That's my I think he is.
Okay. Well, I didn't even know that show was about
I
rape.
yeah. No, there's a rape in it, and I think he's the
Okay.
rapist. Anyways, your turn.
I bet he is. Um, okay. Well, I don't really remember when I watched what. Um, but I've been
Hmm.
going to the Jerusalem Film Festival this week. Um, and it was a blast. The opening night film was a film called Golda, which is about our former prime minister that was handling things. I mean, the only female prime minister in the Middle East ever, pretty much.
Hmm.
And she handled
Crazy.
things during the Yom Kippur War, which was when we were attacked by two Arab countries during our holiday, our national holiday. Um, and Helen Mirren plays Golda, and I got to see her in person along with director Oliver Stone, who I now realize is a very bad person.
Yeah, we didn't
Who
know
said
that.
he
We did not
Yeah,
know that.
but it's a very controversial pick for Jerusalem Film Festival to give him a lifetime achievement award because he did say that um he could find a way to walk in Hitler's shoes and that his ideologies kind of made sense. Um
Not
yeah,
great.
that's a really
Not great.
controversial choice. I don't know why he came in and he had a 2 sentence long speech. He was like, God, it's hot in this country. And he was like, thank you for this award, Mr. Israel, or something like that. It was very strange.
God, it's
And
hot in here.
he was very sweaty and old. But I mean, the movie we're talking about today, actually, like a lot of people make comparisons between it and some of Oliver Stone's movies. I don't know why, because I haven't seen an Oliver Stone movie, but
I've seen 2 Oliver Stone movies, and I did not see a comparison. I
yeah.
watched Platoon and Natural Born Killers. Actually,
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers maybe a little bit. Maybe like the whole prison thing.
Mm.
Whatever.
Speaking of Natural Born Killers, the writer of that movie, Quentin Tarantino, who lives in the area, wasn't able to come this year, even though he comes every year, to see the premiere.
He didn't want to
But
see Yoav.
he don't want to see
He
Yoav, and
didn't
I
want to
don't
see
really want to
Yoav.
see him. I don't really want to see him.
But he wants to see your feet. He wants to suck
um,
on those toes.
right. Um, he
Yeah.
he's a crazy man. He's a
Yeah.
weird guy.
He is weird.
Yeah, and he's my neighbor, so
Yeah.
he lives really close to me. So, but that's okay. And then so that was the first movie I watched in the festival, and it was a really big screening, 5,000 people, crazy. And from there, I went to a very, very small theater with somewhat like 20, 30 people, and it was part of the festival as well. And that was I watched My Own Private Idaho for the fourth or fifth time.
We love that
Um,
movie.
yeah, it was more devastating than usual, even like watching on the big screen like kind of ruined me. However, there was a very I sound really pretentious. There was a really annoying audience member next to me who was laughing at the wrong parts, and they weren't even like usually I don't care because it's like everyone's humor is subjective, whatever.
Right.
But this guy was laughing at the most inhumane times. Like he laughed. I wrote in my letterbox he laughed during the fireplace scene. The fireplace
What?
scene, like where
Wait, are
River.
you
Well,
serious?
I won't spoil the movie for whoever has
Wait, are you
have
serious?
seen. Yes,
Who laughs
he
at that
was
scene?
chuckling. He was chuckling.
Maybe
What?
maybe he was just maybe it just brought up some trauma. Maybe he had his own
Yeah,
fireplace scene.
maybe it was a maybe maybe it was a defense mechanism. Let's hope it was that. But
Yeah,
the second the movie was over, he ran, he bolted out of there.
he did
He
not like
left.
it. No,
He did not
all that
like it. I don't
trauma.
think, yeah. I mean, I think it might be a little bit of a hard movie for people who don't live in the US to understand. Um, because it's very, very about America and
Hmm.
rural America and Southern
Yeah.
America and all that stuff. But there's still some, like, I was talking to my grandma about it who's seen it. She was like, yeah, it made me very sad. And like, I remember it to this day. And I was like, yeah, because it has some such universal, like, sadness to it
Hmm.
and also joy. So I don't know.
I
Then I
think
rewatched, sorry.
I was gonna say I think that a lot of the time when there are those like rural American movies like in very like white states, I I like like very like country-ish hick states, like it's hard for
Yeah.
people to connect. I mean, it's hard for me to connect too because that's not the America I know, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
even harder for other people, and it kind of like it's just interesting because it's like people judge those movies a lot harsher than they judge like other American movies, even though that's
It's true.
mostly what America is. A lot of that type of living and
Yeah.
poverty.
That's why I
Well, we can touch upon that when we watch other movies, like Gummo.
Yeah. She, okay, I feel like she's like hinting towards the pick for her week in like a weird
No,
way.
no, no.
Okay. Well, I would want to watch Gummo, so if that happens to be your choice, I'd be happy.
Don't
Um,
don't worry.
but then I watched Parasite for the like second or third time with my family. I was like, for my birthday, let's all watch Parasite
It's a
because
great I mean,
it
there's a
makes
birthday
sense.
in that.
There is a birthday in that. I am the little boy.
Yes, you are.
Uh, yeah. Um, and
And I
I
am the
do
one
you,
who lives in your basement.
yeah. If you haven't seen Parasite, it's been out for enough time to
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's Parasite.
People know what
I
happened.
do you think the kid dies at the end
Uh-oh.
from his seizure?
We have 10 minutes left.
Do you think the kid dies at the end from his seizure?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
for
Um,
sure.
I'll just I'll just skim the last movie I watched in the festival was A Room of His Own, which is a Israeli comedy that's not coming out till next year. And it was really cool because I got to meet the director, like not meet him, but he was on stage very close to me. And the whole crew kind of felt like a community, like they were all
Oh,
from the same like town or whatever. It was funny. And the movie was okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And we are back
Eh,
for our next segment. What?
in case you can't tell,
In
we
case.
you can show him on your left cheek there. Okay. There we are talking about the new Christopher Nolan flick,
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Wait, we should. This virtual background shit is so annoying.
Yeah, we can
Oh,
stop. We can stop with
wait, we
it.
should. We, we should pause for. Oh, excuse me.
Wait,
Excuse
maybe
me. We should. Sorry, we're having too much fun with this. Okay, okay. Oh, you're trying to eat Albert Einstein's
I'm eating him.
creep?
Oh, well,
Oh,
we don't have to have the backgrounds on.
no, we don't. I was gonna say like pause for like a little thumbnail.
Oh, we should have.
Wait, can I put it back on with it being normal? What the fuck? Why is it not normal?
Do you have I have a green screen ticked on? It's literally your face.
I have what the hell's I have a green screen?
I have a green screen is like the thing that's like it's on the virtual backgrounds thing.
Oh, wait. Oh shit. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause for a thumbnail. Okay, we're good. That's all we need. Okay, wait, we can keep this on then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
here we are discussing the new Christopher Nolan.
This is what we've been waiting for. We haven't talked
Yeah.
about this. We've
Yeah.
been waiting for this, and so have you.
Now, we've been waiting for this for a few months now. A
Oh
little
yeah.
more, actually,
Oh
since
yeah.
this was announced. I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan. Meli
Neither am
talked
I.
about him earlier. Um, I do with The Dark Knight, I get it. Not my thing, but I get it. Inception I watched a while ago. It's pretty good. And same with Interstellar. I did watch his black and white, his debut film, that he made on like
Memento?
no.
Oh.
It's called Following. It's on Criterion. And it was made for like $200, and it's pretty good also, but nothing special. I'm just not a big fan of action movies or whatever his style,
Yeah.
whatever you would call his style.
Big budget
Um,
action movies. Well,
yeah,
I mean, big budget sci-fi, because it's not like Mission Impossible. Like, there's more depth,
yeah.
there's more emotion,
Hmm.
but like, it's still, whatever. I don't like Dark
Yeah,
Knight. I think it's overrated as hell. I'm sorry.
I get that. Nolan is just the reason I respect him, especially on this project, is that he's the only filmmaker that Hollywood will give this kind of budget
Mm-hmm.
for in like this kind of situation for an adult drama that's 3 hours long, rated R, you know.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
and really rated R. Jesus Christ, those scenes.
okay, sorry guys, technical difficulties.
Sorry
Um,
about that. We're still running things. This is our
yeah, where were
first.
we? 3 hour
Um.
black and white adult drama rated R.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's start off with our. How many stars do you give this out of 5, sir?
Oh, I thought we were gonna do that at the end. Do you want to do it
Oh, I
now?
think okay. We can do it then. We can do it then. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Well, what's your first note, Meli?
The first thing that I took a note of was what the fuck is going on? That's the first thing that went in my head because the first like 5 minutes, I was so confused. I was sitting there and everything was so fast paced, rapid, cut here, cut there, bing, bing, bing. And I was like,
Yeah,
whoa, 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 pause, 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 pause. What is going on? Um,
yeah.
so that confused me. Did it confuse you?
Yes, and
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
the editing was actually my first note too.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
in that it's extremely I can't tell if I hate it or I love it because
I think the more I watched it, the more it made
the more I
sense. I
got
think
used to it.
in the
Yeah,
beginning, it was just like in your face and it kind of took you out of it for a moment because
yeah,
then you're like, what? Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I don't know where we are. What's going on? Why is there black and white and color? And why is it going
yeah,
here and there and everywhere? But then once you like settled into it more and you understood where we were in the story, then I was like, okay, the editing makes sense now.
yeah. It's it's definitely very sporadic and
Mm-hmm.
distracted.
Yeah,
It's and it reminds me of Oppenheimer as a character in this movie
that's
that
what I was thinking.
he's all over the place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And in the black and white sequences within them, the editing is much slower, which makes sense because
Right.
I don't know if you
Which
read, but
I did.
where Chris Nolan was talking about why black and white and stuff. Do you want
I
to go
wrote
ahead
like
and
a
tell
whole
it?
bunch of notes on that and about
Okay, well,
fusion and fission and
okay.
yeah,
I did.
I'll tell you about that in a moment.
Okay, okay. Um, so editing was a thing, and
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of fast-paced editing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love me some room to breathe.
Yeah, we don't like
Um,
Bohemian Rhapsody type editing.
yeah. Um,
So
but it
dark.
worked.
Oh,
It eventually worked.
yeah. Sorry.
Um, and I was kind of happy that at all times, like I just think from a filmmaking perspective, like at all times, the cinematographer, what's his name, Hoyt Van Hoytema,
Yeah, something like that.
something like that,
Something. I
had
can double
like
check.
10 cameras on Killian Murphy at all times
Mm-hmm.
to
I
like
mean,
cut. And
no, continue, please.
the editor was did a very great job, and I think Chris Nolan liked it enough because it's kind of his creative vision here.
Yeah.
um but the editor, who I believe is called Jennifer Lane, did an amazing job at the end of the day with her. And the I mean, talking about the editing, we can talk about sound design,
Oh
right?
my God. See, one thing that I am is a sucker for some good sound. And let me fucking tell you, like, you need to experience the sound in a theater
Yeah,
for it to really hit you. Like, I literally was flinching at the sound when they detonate the bomb and it like went silent, and then after like 2-3 minutes, like it fucking explodes. I flinched, like full body flinched.
I jumped. I
Yeah,
didn't even flinch. I was like, I almost fell off my seat. It
like
was
that was
crazy.
crazy. That was insane.
It's such a good choice too.
Oh
Because like
yeah.
in action movies, like you're expecting, because technically you only hear the boom after the explosion, after
Mm-hmm.
the fire.
Yep.
Um, which is what happened in this movie. But Chris
Yes.
Nolan is such an action-oriented director that whenever there's a boom in his movies, they're usually synchronized, right? But here, you're waiting to hear it. You're waiting to hear that action boom, and then it doesn't, and it's a perfect choice.
Oh yeah.
Um, and this is the first time I'm gonna mention, not the last time, David Lynch, because his nuke scene, Meli, you can watch it on YouTube if you haven't seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
His nuke scene is exactly like that, in that it's completely
Mm.
silent. So
Wow.
I feel like with all the black and white sequences in this movie, there must have been something. There must have been some correlation.
The silence too, like it's the silence is more deadly than the
I
exploding
agree.
noise. Like,
It's what you can't hear, and
yeah,
when you what you can hear, and you hear these like breathing noises, which were Killian Murphy's, right?
I believe so. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And the scenes where like he's having, oh my God, when when like his actions or the consequences to his actions are catching up to him and he's realizing like, hey, this bomb that I created is killing thousands of innocent
Hmm.
people, like, and then when he's going through that and like the sound when that's happening, like I can't even describe it. You have to watch it to know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. When he is walking out onto that he's giving a speech,
Yeah.
and when he's giving the speech and he's like saying it and it's like silent and just him and you can, oh my God, that was fucking
Yeah.
crazy. That was crazy.
We'll definitely talk about that scene later because I have a whole ass note about it.
That was
But the sound
insane.
design just in that was insane.
Mhm.
Um,
Trying to think.
anyways, everything for me about the production design here worked perfectly. We're talking the age of like the times appropriate cars,
Mhm.
buildings, World War II, like aesthetic, as I would call it, like was very, very on point in terms of where he was, what kind of people he was meeting, what they were wearing, what kind of makeup there was. It was so period appropriate. And I'm not usually like that, doesn't excite me usually, but this one like blew me away how they managed to do that. What did
Yeah,
you think?
I agree. I think like one thing I pick up more on when it's jarringly awful, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like the fact that I was watching the movie and I wasn't questioning any of that is good. And I
Hmm.
wasn't like, because there are times when I'm watching a movie and I'm like, "Oh my God, like this is not this they don't dress like that. They don't talk like that. Like what are you wearing? What are you doing? Where are
Yeah,
you?" And that really takes me out of the movie watching experience. But like this one, like you said, everything was so accurate
yeah.
that I was like, "Oh, I was immersed." Like I no complaints
Mm,
about that like whatsoever.
yeah. You forget that you're not in the 40s
Yeah,
and the 30s.
exactly.
It's
Ugh,
crazy.
the scenes, well, first of all, the scenes with them at Berkeley were crazy. Also because I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh my God, I've walked on those steps." That was kind of cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like them in the classroom, those were like some of my favorite scenes when they
It's
were in the
yeah,
classroom and they were just like going back and
I agree.
forth and just like bickering and talking, and I'm like, "Ugh, that's so cool."
Yeah, that's the kind of I mean, that's like speaking, the editing is the thing. Like the editing makes those scenes so intense for
Yeah.
no reason,
But the
you know?
editing there works. It just works.
Yeah,
Like the fast pace cutting back and forth, it
yeah,
works there.
yeah.
It does not work
In certain scenes.
in Bohemian Rhapsody when they are sitting at a
Oh,
table and
yeah,
talking.
and Bohemian too. But
Sorry.
there are moments where the editing lets go in the black and white sequences, and obviously in that last scene, there are
Yeah.
no cuts, and it
Yeah.
is, we'll talk about that. I wanted to say, okay, well, I want to talk about the performances, if
Yes, let's
you're
go there. Let's go
ready.
there. Oh, I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready.
Because, okay, who
Okay,
is who is your most standout apart from the lead?
obviously he was fucking fantastic. We just have to
Yeah,
get that out of the way. Killian
yeah.
Murphy killed this role. Um, I don't know who the best actor contenders are. Obviously, he's gonna be a contender and he should win. I don't care. I don't
I
care.
feel like it's not showy enough, to be honest. He doesn't have an Oscar clip. He doesn't have that. He
The scene
doesn't
with
cry.
him delivering that speech
Yes, I agree,
give
but
him the
it's,
Oscar.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Anyways,
The the
but
eye
Killian aside,
acting
oh my god, the eye act.
is some of the best I've ever seen, and I'm not lying. Like it
No,
is a tour de force of performance.
like he he says so much with his eyes. You
He
can
says so
feel
much.
everything just by
Yeah.
looking at his eyes. It's crazy.
And it's terrifying.
It
And
is
it's bone
terrifying.
chilling. It's
Oh yeah,
bone chilling.
it is.
But anyways, he's
But
gonna get enough talk.
Killian aside, because he's
Yeah.
incredible, I
Yeah.
didn't write down my personal standouts.
Mhm.
Um, and the actors that I was like drawn to the most.
Mhm.
Uh, Gary Oldman, which was a shock when he popped up on screen.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, Benny Safdie.
I had a note about him too.
It's a okay. I mean, I don't know. Um, Oddly enough, Dane, is it Dehan?
Who?
Dane Dehan.
Danley Han.
Dane Dehan.
They let me check. Let me check.
Okay.
Who did
He
this
played
person
like the
play?
lieutenant.
Dandy Han.
These are like
Is that
supporting roles that I
yeah, no,
noticed.
I got you. I got
Because
you.
obviously, again, aside from Killian, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon,
Oh, she was good.
uh Robert Downey Jr., who I will get to in a moment about his
Yeah.
performance. Obviously, they all killed it. Like
Yeah.
they all killed it. Like
I feel like here's my thing about Matt Damon. He Matt Damon did.
he
He
did,
was Matt Damon. But it
but it
worked.
worked
It seemed like they almost wrote the role for him because it is
on.
Matt Damon.
Yeah,
It's perfect for him
mm-hmm.
because
It
he
worked.
Matt Damon, he plays his type, and
Yeah,
that was his type, and it worked like
it worked
better
really
than I've
well.
seen it better than I've seen it in Air, better than I've seen it in other movies, also with Matt Damon.
Yeah,
Um, Performances for me, Florence Pugh was interesting, and
interesting.
like I wish she had a little bit more screen time and that they fleshed her out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I could tell that Florence Pugh worked it out so much because her performance was so specific and interesting
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't stop like watching
Yeah.
her and things she was doing and trying to decipher what her character's motivations were. And I think
Yeah.
performance wise, she was amazing. Not writing wise, I think she could have had more.
But I think it kind of
We,
just goes to show that her character was
yeah,
like she was a side chick.
she was a side chick, which she's also I feel like most of her screen time in the movie, she is naked, which is like
Yeah.
she was kind of like a sex symbol for
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer. For
Definitely.
I I don't know how to describe it. She was like
That
a
that one scene really came out of nowhere.
what the first time there's nudity
No,
or
when they're
when
in the court, not in the courtroom, but they're in like the private
oh
and
that
get
was so good though.
it it was good, but I was like, whoa. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa. It caught me off guard, but it
yeah,
worked. It
yeah. It
worked really
worked.
well. It
Yeah,
worked so well. I'm
it
sorry.
worked.
I'm sorry to all the
They were
people.
just they were just going at it,
Yeah,
and
they
it
were.
worked.
It
It worked
worked.
perfectly. Um,
Who were your standout performances though?
yeah.
Well, or just keep
So
going after Florence Pugh.
I okay. Did you read my review?
No.
Oh, okay. So okay. Emily Blunt's character was also super interesting, and she
Hmm.
did have that Oscar moment, which was supposed to be cheerworthy, and it did get me
Which one?
happy when she stood up, when she was just like when they were in the courtroom and she started defending him,
Oh
and she
yeah,
was like
that
deflecting. I if this movie wasn't so emotionally confusing, I would be cheering, but she's still Oppenheimer's wife.
yeah,
I don't want to get into like the morals of what he did or the politics like
yeah.
surrounding it, but
Like
I
he's not a
didn't I
good
didn't like
person.
cheer. No,
We know
I
that.
think I think everyone can agree on that. Um,
Bomb
but
nuclear, not nuclear, whatever, atomic bomb aside, he's still a shitty person. Like ignore the fact
yeah,
that he
yeah.
like whatever.
I almost fell off my chair. Emily Blunt was good.
Yeah.
And she was good. Robert Downey Jr. had his best performance in years.
Oh yeah.
He is done playing Iron Man.
Oh my
He is ready
God.
to move on to bigger and better things.
See, this is what I was going to say when I said we'll get to him in a
Mhm.
moment. Um, I've honestly forgot that he can act. I forgot.
Me too.
Like
Everyone did.
Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man for God knows how long and not getting any other role except for like
Yeah.
Doctor Doolittle. Um, really like takes you out of it and makes you forget that he's a real actor that plays like
Yeah.
actually like good
Yeah.
characters. And so seeing him in this role, I was like, fuck, dude, like he can act. Like I
Yeah.
forgot about that. So I was like really I got excited
Yeah.
too. So that
I
made me
to be
happy.
honest, I forgot. It was one of those things where I forgot it was Robert Downey. I forgot it. He dissolved into like this
Mm-hmm.
historical figure that I don't know how that guy looks in real life, but
Mm,
he just dissolved and like he was so
very
good.
good.
I
Very
mean
good.
he was so like such a strong performance.
Yeah,
I don't know how to describe it.
very strong.
However, my issue here with the performance, not with the performances, mostly like the casting,
Hmm.
was that, and I wrote in my review that there were these very, very small side characters.
Yes.
Um, like I know you like Gary Oldman, but um,
I can
like
clarify why.
okay,
Not because it is Gary Oldman. I don't really care for him to be
yeah,
honest. Just that first, okay, I do his acting, he's like a character actor, whatever. Like he
yeah,
plays very different characters in every role that
yes,
he's done. They're so different. Every role I've seen
yeah,
him in is completely separate from the other roles. All different. So I didn't even know he was in this movie. Um, I don't know if that was announced or whatever, but if it was, I completely
I
forgot
think
about
I
it.
think I think it was, but he was just he did
Well,
very
I
well in the
see
2 minutes that
the
he
two
had.
minutes that he had, I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, honestly, yeah, I get it. This is
yeah,
good. Like the way whenever he was like leaving and he was like, don't let that crybaby back into my office, I was
yeah,
like, what? Like he was so funny and like his delivery and everything about his performance, like
yeah. Was
that's
amazing.
why that's why
Um,
I like Gary Oldman.
So
in
Gary
the movie.
Oldman is kind of an exception here, but all these side characters, we're talking Kenneth Branagh, we're
That would
talking Rami Malek. Oh, Kenneth
uh
Branagh was very muddy. His French, German, I don't know what was going on there.
yeah.
Um, but he just sounded like a British person trying to do too. Whatever. Um,
See, the Rami Malek, I was
yeah,
confused.
yeah.
But
The
okay.
the two standouts here in the supporting cast are Gary Oldman and Casey Affleck as that terrifying
See,
security manager.
AC Affleck, man. Again, I wasn't expecting him to be in the movie.
Yeah,
I don't like Casey Affleck.
I get it.
Um, I don't like him. I just he's never wowed me, and I can see why, like, that was scary because he was, but
Yeah,
seeing his face, I was like, oh, like
yeah,
that was like one part where I was
I
like,
get
why are
that.
you here?
I'm just speaking of all of these A-list actors that are playing roles that are so flat. Like not I'm not talking about the writing here. I don't care that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
flat
yeah,
characters. We care about the main characters here. You know, the
yeah.
supporting characters, yes, they can't. I like if they have detail and nuance to them, but these characters are just there for like historical context, you
Mhm.
know. Rami Malek, Kenneth Branagh, you know, in some ways Gary Oldman, Alden, I don't know how to pronounce his
Alden
last name.
on Einre
Albright
all
or
yeah,
whatever.
whatever. He was
And
good.
all of these, he was good, but James Darcy, it was just Josh Peck.
That was funny. I like how he
That
pushed
was
the button
funny. It
though.
was funny, but at one moment it just felt like cameos that were like you could have given people that were, I mean, just because this is such a prevalent issue right now in Hollywood, like you could have given roles to people that aren't that well known or that are
But
trying to
also,
break in.
also, I will say I agree, but in a way I also disagree because
Hmm.
a lot of these actors that were making cameos are like actors that like I have been rooting for and that I want
Yeah,
them to get their big break. One of them being Devin Bostick. I
I don't know
l-
who that is.
he played Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Really?
Yes,
Wait, I can't find him here.
he was in it. I love him, and like he's had his roles. He was in Okja, Bong Joon-ho, but
Yeah.
like I'm like rooting for those actors that like I want them to have that big role and I want them to like make it and like have consistent roles and have
Oh,
consistent
he was in
jobs.
it.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
So seeing him
yeah.
in it made me happy. And honestly, same with
Yes,
Josh Peck because Josh Peck like has not been employed since Drake and
that's
Josh.
true.
So
That's
like
true.
seeing him in this, like I was like, oh my God, like yay,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you're actually
My
like in
thing was
something.
my thing was the Rami Malek kind of
That yeah.
character
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I at one point I went into we have 10 minutes. I went
Okay.
into the restroom at one point and I sprinted because the editing was so fast I didn't want to miss
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
I ran and I came back and I was like, what? Who brought Rami Malek in this?
Yeah.
You know?
His
Like,
I was like,
what is this?
I didn't really care.
Yeah,
I didn't really care. Sorry.
no. So that kind of stuff I feel like could have been casted differently.
Yeah.
But it
But
is showing how many people want to work for Nolan, which is
yes.
cool.
And I do want to say I don't care if people think Benny Safdie was cringy. I liked him.
He was not cringy at all.
Okay,
He was
good.
like my favorite
Okay,
side
okay, okay.
character.
Thank you. Because
He was so weird and hilarious.
so when he was smearing
Putting
that
on sunscreen. Yeah.
he was hilarious when Katie didn't shake his hand.
Yeah,
Women, we stand up.
that was
That
real.
was
That was
powerful.
real.
That was
That
fucking
was
powerful.
powerful.
She didn't smile at him. She barely even looked at him. She like almost
Yeah,
spit on his shoe. I was like, yes, that is
yeah.
it. Um, Also David Dashmalian. I like him, so thank you for being in that for like your little short. He always plays weird ass characters, so thank you for being
Yeah,
creepy as
that was
always.
amazing. That was amazing.
And then there was one more person. Oh, fucking the guy from The Boys, Huey, Jack
Yeah,
Quaid,
yeah.
Mr. Derpface. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. His face the whole time was like, like, get off the screen. Okay. Next.
Um, sorry, we have to wrap this up.
Oh,
I
should I?
okay.
Okay.
Sound design, music was incredible. The
Oh my
score here
god.
was the standout
Dude.
thing.
See, it's gonna be between Oppenheimer and Dune. Like, who's gonna win?
Yeah,
We
but
won't know.
no, give it to Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Dune
I
won
agree.
last year.
I agree.
Dune not last year when Dune Part 1 came out. Dune won
Yeah.
score. That's enough. This score is so epically terrifying. And we can start a new Zoom
Insane.
after this. It's okay.
Yeah.
So terrifying and it's unnerving, and hearing it in the theater, like that surround Dolby Atmos,
Oh,
like those clings and those intense violins, and like everything about it felt so epic, and like it was made for this movie. It felt like
yeah.
one prolonged nuclear bomb of a score.
That's
What did you think?
same. Everything the same. Everything I agree with. I was like just so immersed.
Yeah.
That's like the best word to use.
Yeah.
And my eardrums were bleeding at some point, but I was grateful. I was really grateful. I was
Yeah.
like, thank
Yeah.
you for this.
One of the Letterboxd reviews was like, I have now become death,
Oh
the
yeah.
destroyer of
Destroy
ears.
ears. Yep.
That was so
Yes.
funny. Yeah, I feel like the music is gonna be talked about a lot by other people because
Yeah,
it was just like,
for sure.
I don't know, it like genius stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, like I don't know how someone could compose something that like intense and epic.
Yeah.
I can't even like it's better than most of Hans Zimmer's works, if I'm honest. Like this, I'm sorry, that's a really hot take, but
It
Hans
is a hot
Zimmer's
take.
scores tend to be like one recognizable themes, and he plays with it,
Yeah.
and it gets really loud and epic, and it's like repeating, and it gets iconic to like Jaws, to
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
to Indiana Jones, and I love it, but something here that's so intricate and like, and it has that epic Hans Zimmer feel while being like
Completely original.
completely original, and no like reoccurring motifs.
Yeah.
There were some, but it wasn't enough to grab a hold of to the point where you're humming it. It's just an extremely intense and immersive score, and that's the kind of thing I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hans Zimmer's is amazing. I really thought he would be doing the score for this, but he didn't.
Same.
So,
But guess not.
because it's a very Hans Zimmer movie.
Did he do Interstellar?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, don't take me on that, actually.
I
I
thought
don't I
he
don't think he did.
did.
Maybe he
Okay,
didn't.
whatever.
Yeah, I think he did. Um, sorry, now I'm checking. Okay, what's your next note here?
The next thing I have
I want to
is
hear about the fission.
that's what I have.
Okay.
So basically, like, I just like wrote down that the scenes told. I love how they called him Oppie in the movie. That was so funny to me.
That was great.
Everyone's like Oppie. Okay, so the scenes told through Oppie's perspective are in color, whilst, I mean, this is like loosely. Straw's perspective is black and white,
Mhm.
but also black and white are the objective parts, so moments in history not influenced by opinion or emotion.
Yes.
Um, more about the repercussions to dropping the bomb rather from outside perspective.
Hmm.
But then the color scenes are subjective and Oppie's perspective and all his biases and emotions and the
Hmm.
moral battle with creating the bomb. But the fission versus fusion thing, which I read about. I did not come up with this, so I got it off of Screen Rant, so I'm giving them credit.
Mhm.
Um, how like fission is they labeled it to the colored sequences, and
Yeah.
the definition is like the splitting or separating of something into two or more parts. And so what they
Mhm.
wrote was like the compartmentalizing of the film story, and it's like the breakup like of his life. And so like fission through the film story and characters, so by heightening emotions and highlighting his troubles with building the bomb and its
Mhm.
consequences, and it's like splitting it apart. But then
That's amazing.
yeah, but then the fusion part is like labeled to the black and white sequences, and fusion is like the joining of two parts to form a single entity. And so like they were saying that the black and white sections of Oppenheimer take the separated or fission parts of the film's
Mhm.
colored sequences and
Mhm.
fuses them together, and it fuses all the elements of Oppenheimer together by the ending. And I was like,
That's great.
wow.
That's
Wow,
great.
wow, wow, that's
Especially because
crazy.
because in the scene that's behind me, the black and
It
white,
that
they turn that to color.
yeah. Also
Yeah.
like the whole like I like after reading this and like writing it, I was like, holy shit. So again, credit to Screen Rant.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, that is absolutely crazy. But then after reading that, I was like, yes, yes. I now
Okay.
like I see it, I understand it, I get the
Uh,
vision.
the
It has come
fission.
uh yeah. I see it, it's come together for me.
But
Perfect.
yeah, that fission fusion thing is insane.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like
need to tell my sister that because we watched it together. That's
you
crazy.
do.
That's
Like,
crazy.
yeah. So that kind of after that, it became like clear to me in a
Mhm.
way. Because like I
Right.
guess before, not that I was having like a hard time
Hmm.
connecting it, but now it just makes even more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of like the black and white sequences, what are your
Hmm.
thoughts on the third act here? Because this is the most controversial thing about the movie, in
Hmm.
terms of ratings and stuff.
Yes.
Um, because I am on the fence about it. On one hand, it's riveting
Yes.
and it feels like a great courtroom drama, and I love how the story evolves in that direction.
Hmm.
Um, on the other hand, two things. One, it wasn't I'm gonna be totally honest, it wasn't as intense for me as that stuff building up to the bomb in the first and second acts.
I agree.
Thirdly, I did get confused.
Yes. Me too.
I
Me
don't know
too.
about you, because
No,
I was confused onto what Oppenheimer, like what specifically is he being indicted for. I didn't really understand
hmm
like the connections they were making with communism. I know they were made up from like
yeah.
Strauss's like thing that he was doing there, but I was confused. How about you?
I totally agree. I was very confused.
Mhm.
I didn't understand the scheme. I whenever they were like plotting and then like they brought in the lieutenant and then like the
So
faking and the security, I was like,
yeah,
huh?
the thing I understood is that Strauss sent in this file on Oppenheimer to someone who was retired from being in the FBI. And
Yes.
that person wrote a whole letter about how Oppenheimer was a communist and a horrible person.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be trusted with the high security clearance he has.
Hmm.
And then he sent it into this board who examined it, and then they were indicting Oppenheimer for being a communist. And at the end,
Yeah.
he can't have security clearance, but he doesn't go to prison for being a commie.
Yes.
That's all. That's what
Yeah,
I
that like
understood.
obviously like by the end I understood that.
Hmm.
Um, but the storytelling in the third act getting to that point was very confusing.
Yeah.
And because of the very fast-paced choppy editing, it was even
Hmm.
harder to understand.
Yeah.
Also like the fact that there were, this is just me, no subtitles. Some of
It
their
was harsh.
accents, yeah, some of their accents were a
And
little,
Chris Nolan. people laugh at Chris Nolan because his mixes, I don't know if you noticed in Interstellar, but his mixes tend to be like ambient noise, explosions, and music are
Mm-hmm.
always louder than the speaking.
Yes.
And people laugh
Yes.
at him for that, especially in Tenet, which was his worst movie to date,
Right.
in my opinion.
I have not
Um,
seen that yet.
it was
But
bad. There's no need.
okay.
But that it happens much less in this movie than it does in his other films,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of why I'll just say it now. I consider this Nolan's. I consider this his best work
I agree.
to date. To
I
date,
agree hands
from what
down.
I've seen, I have not seen all of his filmography.
Oh yeah, yeah, same. Because I haven't seen Memento, and I know people say Memento's his best.
Yeah,
My
but no,
cousin
this is
was dying on a hill for Memento.
yeah. It's such a this movie's so impactful and serious and beautiful and dark.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was gonna ask you if you do consider it a horror movie in some ways.
I think um horror movie, I mean not like your typical horror movie, but I guess
Mhm.
a horror movie in the fact where it's like because it's real and we
Yeah,
know what happened and we know the consequences of dropping these types of like
yeah.
weapons and we know what it has done to Japan and the lasting
Hmm.
effects. In that sense, yes, it's a horror movie because after what 70, 80 years at this point
Yeah.
since they dropped the bombs, like the
Hmm.
land is still plagued
Yep.
and like shit can't grow
Terrifying.
there. You can't eat the food
Yeah.
there. You still can't drink the water there. Like
Yeah.
the soil is still poisoned. Like people, like it's like people are still poisoned. Like it's crazy. So in that sense,
I
yes, it's a horror
yeah.
movie.
I also, speaking of Hiroshima specifically and
Mhm.
Nagasaki,
Yeah.
is that I love how they didn't show images from the bombings and
Hmm, hmm.
I feel like a conventional biopic would show
For
this
sure.
effect and their skin peeling, and we've all seen those
Yeah.
photos. Everyone that walked into the movie is probably in school seeing the effects on the people of Nagasaki and the
Yeah.
people of Hiroshima. Um, and it's terrible stuff. But I think that the fact that they didn't show the images reminds people of when they did
Hmm.
in school, and it's like disturbing.
I have a good connection
Yeah.
because my mom just finished True Detective season one. Yeah, and we were talking about it, and she was saying
Hmm.
how she's very happy that they didn't show any of the violence, like the real violence that was
Oh,
happening in the
ugh.
show, because in a way, not showing that violence makes it
Yeah.
even scarier and even eerier. And so it's like the same in Oppenheimer. We're not
And that's how
showing
it is
it.
always,
Yeah,
always for me at least.
yeah. Not
I
showing
mean,
the like what happened and like just makes it worse.
this is such a tangent. It's just that one scene in True Detective, what makes it so,
Mm-hmm.
with Tuttle's little
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
video,
Yeah.
you know, that's what makes it so disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Exactly.
they're almost, exactly what happens by Woody Harrelson's face. And
Mm-hmm.
you see that little clip of it, and it's like something that burns into your mind.
Yeah.
So I just love when movies do that. Um, the last thing that
Mm-hmm.
I have, I don't know how much more you have,
Um, no.
is those nightmare scenes when he is in the
Oh, okay. With the
doing his
okay.
speech.
Yeah.
And when he's in the courtroom later, when
Mm-hmm.
they lean into surrealism,
Yes.
uh, that speech scene is my favorite scene in the movie. It is just so incredible.
Mm-hmm. See, the sound
Like,
design alone in that scene.
yeah,
Oh my God. I was
yeah,
like, I can't even like, I don't even know what I was feeling because
yeah.
so much was going on inside my head and you truly won't know what it's like until you
Mhm.
see that scene with your own two eyes.
Yeah,
Like we can't even sit here and describe it.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's one of the most horrifying things I've seen in
Oh my
recent
God,
memory.
for sure.
It's Killian Murphy's eye acting in that one is also, and the way he intonates, and like his body starts like trembling, and then the screen around him, or the
Yeah.
background starts shaking,
Mm-hmm.
and the sound design and the practical effects, this one who's, oh, and then when he steps in that, don't even, when
Like,
he steps in that body, oh my God, that's like
God.
so disgusting and horrible. And
Yeah.
the fact they used practical effects and not CGI,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think of that? Because
I
I
love
thought
it. I
it
love
made it
it.
even better.
I
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I don't even, it's like it's so like, oh, that
It's
scene,
great.
like, yes, that scene, honestly, like one of like the most memorable scenes in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like just like the banging of the feet, and then the
Yeah.
way it slowly like stops, and then like you just hear him, and then there's like quiet humming in the background, and
Yeah.
it's like in and out. Oh my God.
I'm getting chills just thinking about
Oh
it,
my God.
because
Chill.
that
Yes, full
scene
body chills.
and the end scene, which is also my second favorite scene in the movie.
Mhm.
Everyone will be talking about that ending.
Obviously.
Everyone, because it's, I mean, we've been spoiling it, so I can just say it, that the
Yeah.
ending, that close up on his face, is like,
Insane.
and
Oh,
then you get that shot of the world, of of,
oh,
of
of that
Earth
earth. Yeah.
burning, and it's some of the most like hopeless imagery I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like how
Actually,
apocalyptic it all feels.
I do have a question for, not a question, but
Yeah.
but I do have some one last thing I wanted to add on, I
Mhm.
guess, is the fact that like the politics of this movie and the message is so on the nose to modern day politics.
Mhm.
And it's as
Yep.
if this movie is literally just trying to tell politicians and these people who have all this power and who have
Mhm.
these weapons of serious mass destruction, hey, these weapons could wipe out hundreds of thousands of people.
Mhm.
It could destroy our world. Um, it could cause a chain reaction in the atmosphere where it catches on fire and doesn't stop burning. Huh,
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't use it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just shoving it down your throat, like literally, like there's
But
at
I love
least,
it for that.
right? But there's at
Yeah.
least 5 points in the movie where it's like, this is really bad and really
Yeah.
destructive. This is gonna kill everything. This is gonna hurt a
Mhm.
lot of things. This is gonna destroy.
Yeah.
Like it's as if like they're like, hey, listen, look
Chill
at what.
out. Look at what you can do. Scientists have so much power. They can
Mm-hmm.
literally, if I feel like if Oppenheimer wanted to, as a physicist, he could probably theorize a bomb that destroys the Earth.
Oh, for sure.
He could probably have up that percentage to 90,
Yeah, I'm sure.
which is possibly like one of the scariest things to think about within
But
this movie.
what's even scarier though is the fact that, excuse me, even though they have all the power, he then loses all his power the minute it's built.
Yeah.
And that's what's even scarier because then it's going into the hands of people who don't know
Mm.
the consequences of
Yeah.
these weapons.
Yeah.
Like at least Oppenheimer like knows what's to come, but
Yeah.
these politicians don't know. Like
Yeah.
they think they know, but no, they don't. They don't know what's to come when they use these things.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's like
terrifying.
that's why it's so scary that like people like countries actually have these weapons. Like they could
We
do
both live in countries with nukes.
yes, we do.
So it's immediate. It's like, it's crazy. Like I would,
Fucking
I don't want to get political, but
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
There's just certain
It's just
just
scary to think about.
yeah. You know, in the US, the president is over what is he, 70 something or 80?
Maybe like 79,
The fact
78.
that, I mean, obviously he's the president, he doesn't have all of the power here, but the fact he can, in this situation, you had the Gary Oldman with the ultimate decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it was down to him, in like historically
Yes.
in that story, it was down to him. The fact that President Joe Biden, or our prime minister, might
Mm-hmm.
like it might come down to them to decide the fate of the world or the fate of a nuclear bomb. I hate that.
Agree. Agreed,
I
agreed,
hate that.
agreed.
And I don't think even if we had the best president or the best prime minister ever, I think I would still hate it.
Oh, 100 billion
Yeah.
percent. No, no one should have that power to be able to make that decision ever, ever. So the fact that this movie is like trying to just tell you like maybe like think a little bit is crazy.
Anyways, do you want to do our ratings and then the announcement?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
My rating for Chris Nolan's Oppenheimer is a very, very strong 8 out of 10.
Oh, we're doing it out of
Very strong.
10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 4 out of 5, girl.
4 out of 5. Okay, that's what
4
I
out
thought.
of 5.
Okay.
You? I already know, but
Yeah, mine is a very strong 4.5 out of 5.
yeah.
So that would be what, like a 9.5? 9.
Yeah.
There
Not
you
a
go.
9.
9
Yeah.
out of 10.
I'm
There you
so happy
go.
this movie turned out so good.
Agreed. I've been looking forward to it for a really long time, and the
Yeah.
payoff is worth it.
Yes. It is. You should go watch it if you haven't, because there's a reason everyone's upping their hymies in their
Woo!
hymies about this movie. I
Yes,
was waiting to do that ton, and I wanted it in the beginning, but it's all right.
I like that.
And now we can turn off our virtual backgrounds for the
Yes.
most important event of the year, of the
Yes.
week, which is the announcement of next
The
week's film.
announcement of next week. Week
The
after's
week after,
film.
whatever.
All right, everybody. So, my choice, next week's movie choice, my choice is the 2001 French romantic comedy Amélie, directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
I
So,
have actually not watched that, so I'm
and
very excited.
neither have I, and that's why I picked it, first of all. Also, because I thought, why not do something a little more lighthearted than Oppenheimer?
Yeah,
But
I
also
agree.
because I've been wanting to watch this movie for so long and it's sitting on my shelf there collecting dust. So yeah. And it was between
Amazing.
actually I had a few movies down. At the end it was between Amelie and Old Boy. But I but I thought we need a break because doing an
Yeah,
Oppenheimer and Old Boy back to back is a little too much.
there's a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, I chose that one, and neither of us have seen it, so I think that's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Yay!
Well, that was a great first podcast. What do
Yes,
you
it
think?
was. I'm very proud of us. And obviously, the more we do, the smoother it will get. And Zoom only lets us do 40 minutes, so we'll figure out a way around that eventually.
Yeah. Thank you if you
But yeah,
if you got here, if you're here, if you're
thank
listening.
you. And
It
if
might
you're
just be the
not,
two of us, but
it's okay.
fuck
Well,
you.
yeah, seriously, kill yourself. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Killian Murphy.
Ollie London.
Kenneth Branagh.
I don't know.
Those are the only 3 actors in the world. So.
Ollie London's not an actor.
What?
Do you know who I'm
is he
talking
then?
about? Oh my
No.
god. Dude.
Oh, is that the guy that turned into that Korean?
Yeah. Because people say that Cillian Murphy looks like Ollie London.
No, what?
That's what they say. And the ant
Oh
from
my
that
God.
Bug movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I get that.
We know that
Sorry.
one.
But yeah.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
time to say goodbye.
Thanks
And
for listening.
yes, thank you for listening, everybody.
Watch
Watch Oppenheimer in theaters.
Watch Oppenheimer in theaters
And watch movies.
and watch movies. And watch
Yes.
Amelie.
Yes. And we will
Yeah.
discuss that next week.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
See you.
Peace
See you
out.
guys. Bye.